In the land of ancient Sparta, the birth of a child was not merely a private family matter, it was a test of strength and destiny. The fate of every newborn lay in the hands of the elders, who inspected each infant with a discerning eye. If the child appeared strong and healthy, it was permitted to live and join the ranks of Spartan society. But if deemed weak or unfit, it was abandoned, left in the wild to perish. The myth says that the children, weak or unfit, were thrown to Caiadas, an abyss in the Mount of Taygetus. For in Sparta, only the strongest could serve the state. At the age of 7, young boys were taken from their homes and placed into the rigorous system of the Agoge. No longer under the tender care of their mothers, they became part of a herd, a group of fellow trainees under the supervision of a strict pedagogue. Here they learned the arts of physical endurance, military combat, and unwavering discipline. Days were filled with wrestling matches, running drills, and lessons in survival. Complaints were not tolerated, pain and hardship were simply a way of life. As they grew older, their training intensified. By adolescence, the boys were given only the bare minimum to survive. They slept on the ground or on makeshift beds of reeds, cut with their bare hands from the banks of the Eurotas River. Their meals were meager, forcing them to become cunning and resourceful. Stealing food was encouraged, not as an act of disobedience, but as a lesson in stealth and survival. Yet if they were caught, punishment was swift, not for the theft, but for their failure to remain undetected. Harsh conditions forged these boys into warriors. They endured freezing winters with only a single tunic, their feet hardened from years without shoes. Their daily routines were grueling, running, sparring, and honing their combat skills with unwavering focus. To prove their endurance, they faced painful trials, including the infamous flogging at the temple of Artemis Orthia. Before a public audience, they were whipped, expected to endure the pain without a sound. These tests of resilience prepared them for a life where weakness was not an option. For the most elite, a final challenge awaited the Cryptia. Only the most promising young men were selected for this secretive trial. Alone in the wilderness, they had to rely solely on their instincts and skills to survive. Concealment, self-sufficiency, and ruthless efficiency were paramount. This was the ultimate test, separating the strong from the strongest, ensuring that only the most capable warriors would defend Sparta. By the age of 18, the boys had become men, ready to enter the Spartan army. Some, having proven exceptional skill and discipline, joined the ranks of the Cryptia, maintaining order and defending their homeland. Their lives were no longer their own. They belonged to Sparta, their purpose clear: to serve, to fight, and if necessary, to die for the state. While the boys trained for war, Spartan girls were not confined to the shadows. Unlike the women of other Greek city-states, Spartan girls received a rigorous education of their own. From a young age, they engaged in physical training, running, wrestling, and throwing javelins. Their strength was not merely for personal prowess, but to ensure they would one day bear strong, healthy warriors. Spartan girls participated in competitions, proving their endurance and agility before the eyes of the community. They were given ample food, unlike the restricted diets of boys, as their health was paramount for producing the next generation of Spartans. They were also taught reading, writing, and music, not to engage in philosophical debates, but to manage households and estates with wisdom and efficiency. These women were not submissive figures hidden away in domestic life. They were outspoken, assertive, and independent, entrusted with responsibilities while their husbands and sons waged war. They raised their children with the same unyielding discipline instilled in the Agoge. The famous words of a Spartan mother handing her son his shield echoed throughout history. "Come back with it, or on it." To live with honor or die with it, that was the Spartan way. Sparta was a land where personal desires were sacrificed for the greater good. The state molded its people from birth, ensuring that every citizen was prepared to endure hardships, conquer enemies, and uphold the strength of their city. Their education was not just about knowledge, but about survival. And so the Spartans became legendary warriors, feared and respected throughout the ancient world, their legacy etched into the annals of history.